We've spoken about Governor Whitmer before on the show in the context of the alleged attempts to capture her. Remember, there was a whole story where there were individuals in Michigan who were trying to essentially kidnap the governor. So we've talked about her in that context before, but she's back in the news. We spent some time on this channel talking about Governor Cuomo over in New York, who is under a lot of investigation, a lot of hot water for multiple things. Of course, we're talking about the sexual harassment scandal. But in addition to that, he's got the nursing home debacle, which in my opinion is a way bigger story. Well, some of the same issues are happening in Michigan, it looks like. Now there is a new Macomb County prosecutor who says that criminal charges are possible against Governor Whitmer for Michigan's own nursing home deaths. This story came over from WXYZ.com, which is a news station over there. It says criminal charges could be in the works against Governor Gretchen Whitmer over putting COVID patients inside nursing homes used as hubs early on in the pandemic. And so I wanted to just pause on this briefly. Remember, I've been trying to apply the same standard equally across the board. Even when we were talking about Cuomo in New York, I think the appropriate standard here is, look, if you're in the middle of a pandemic, you're making snap decisions, you're trying to move patients around and move bodies around, I understand that people are going to make mistakes in that context. Not going to beat up too hard on anybody who's trying to help during the pandemic, because it was a mess. I lived through it. So did you. It was not an easy situation to navigate. If you're the governor and you've got a lot of people, you don't know what to do with them, I can understand making a mistake on that point. And so I'm not upset particularly about that. I am sort of disgusted that somebody would make a decision that's so asinine as to put people that we knew who were elderly and sick and the most vulnerable together with other COVID patients. I think is idiotic and a bad judgment, and something that these politicians easily could be impeached over and certainly not reelected over, because it's just poor critical thinking and poor decision-making skills, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not in their shoes. I don't know what it's like to be the governor of a state in the middle of a pandemic. Maybe that's the best option they had. I don't know. But I don't think it amounts to criminality there. Where the line gets crossed is when they cover it up. So when Cuomo and his office then suddenly started manipulating the numbers and sort of counting things differently, saying, well, if they died at a hospital and not a nursing home, even though they got transported out of the nursing home and over to the hospital, we're not going to count that as a nursing home death. We're going to count that as a hospital death. Stuff like that, I think, is very, very close to being fraudulent. And that type of stuff is criminal, in my opinion. Now, in this case with Governor Whitmer, I'm not sure that she's at that threshold yet of criminality. We'll see, but this is the first inkling, because there is a new Macomb County prosecutor, guy by the name of Peter Lucido, who says people who lost loved ones to COVID as residents or staff inside nursing homes should get back should go back to get the vital information about the circumstances of their death and take that to the local police and make a complaint as a wrongful death. Okay, so this is an elected person who used to be a senator in Michigan, who is now a county prosecutor for Macomb County. Says, yeah, go to the nursing home where your loved one died, get the vitals, get the information, get the statistics, the circumstances surrounding their death, take it right down to the police, file a complaint. He's saying it should be a wrongful death charge from a prosecutor. This is not a political news pundit. Okay, this is a prosecutor in this county. So basically he's indicating if you do that, he's going to prosecute the case. All right. He says he can't do it on his own, though. He says with HIPAA laws, can't get that information on his own to start an investigation. He started looking into this last year as a state senator. He issued a statement in August that said more than 2,000 residents and 21 staff died in nursing homes. Those were 32% of all deaths. He's asking people to go back to nursing homes, gather vital information surrounding deaths, take it to a local police to file a wrongful death report. He will be meeting with Macomb County Police to instruct them on how to process and verify the information and bring it to his office. He says, why did my mom or why did my dad, my brother, sister, or aunt die? Was it because of a policy? By bringing COVID-infected patients that spread to my mom that killed my mother, he said? After becoming a prosecutor this year, he asked fellow county prosecutors to form a blue ribbon committee for consistency investigating these cases. That association as a group declined and said Lucido should make the request to the Michigan Attorney General and the feds. He provided letters showing that he did last May. So this guy's on it. I mean, he's actually communicating with county police to say, if you get one of these claims that come in, here's how to handle it. Here's how to process it. Just like he would with anything else, any new law that comes through. it's very interesting. The Attorney General, however, said that they're not interested in pursuing this. They said there's not a proper basis to open up a criminal investigation. The U.S. Attorney said they would look into the request. He says, I didn't receive a very warm welcome. This is not political, everyone. This is about people who passed away at the behest of a policy that was created by the governor, said Lucido. Governor Whitmer released a statement, said our top priority from the start has been protecting Michiganders, especially seniors and our most vulnerable. The administration policies carefully track CDC guidance on nursing homes. We prioritize testing of nursing home residents and staff to save lives. Early in the pandemic, the state acted swiftly to create a network of regional hubs with isolation units and adequate PPE to prevent the spread of COVID-19 within a facility. In addition, we have offered 100% of nursing home resident priority access to the vaccine. Both the former head of AARP, as well as an independent U of M study. The comments are shameful political attacks based in neither fact nor reality. Even his former colleague, Republican Senator Ed McBroom, said they have not seen any evidence or testimony that a nursing home was forced to take someone against their will. And that's the reason why Mr. Lucido's colleagues have publicly rebuked this politically motivated waste of taxpayer dollars. Michiganders are tired of the petty partisan games and won't be distracted by them either. So I was a little bit curious as to what he wanted to charge the governor with, or anybody in her administration with. So we were poking around some of the statutes. This is over from Michigan. This is the manslaughter charge. I got a bone to pick with the people who draft the Michigan laws. This is I think this is the full law. It's section 750.321 from the Michigan legislature. And it says here, manslaughter. This is how they define manslaughter. Any person who shall commit the crime of manslaughter shall be guilty of a felony punishable by imprisonment. All right, so are you going to tell us what the crime of manslaughter is? Is that elsewhere in the statutes? I didn't see it, so kind of a garbage statute. But it's in there. It's in the code, right? You can go find it. I'm probably going to get skewered by some attorney, say I was looking in the wrong spot. That's okay. We have another one, willful neglect of duty. How about this statute? This is sort of what a statute should look like. When any duty is or shall be enjoined by law upon any public officer or upon any person holding public office, every willful neglect to perform such duty, where no special provision shall have been made for the punishment of such delinquency, constitutes a misdemeanor. All right. These laws are terrible. They're just terrible. What the heck did that even say? Michigan. Come on. Update your laws. It's 2021. When were these written? Terrible. Here's another one from the U.S. Code that we can actually make a little bit of sense of. This is manslaughter under the federal rules. It says manslaughter is the unlawful killing of a human being without malice. Okay, we can do something with that. Unlawful killing of a human being without malice. That means that you didn't intend to kill him. You don't have anything hard in your heart about that. They just died, and it wasn't lawful to kill that person. They define two types. Involuntary manslaughter would be the one that we might be thinking about. In the commission of an unlawful act not amounting to a felony, or in the commission in an unlawful manner and without due caution or circumspection of a lawful act which might produce death. So the governor had the ability to make things so it was a lawful act. It wasn't an unlawful act. So we're in the second half of this statute. It says if the commission, in the commission, an unlawful manner or without due caution or circumspection of a lawful act that might produce death. All right. So if you're guilty of involuntary manslaughter, imprisoned not more than 8 years. So kind of an interesting hint from this prosecutor from Macomb County. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think that even if somebody came and said, yeah, my grandma died in a nursing home, not sure that they're going to be able to charge anybody with a crime on this. It does feel a little bit political to me, even though it's a bummer. All right, we've got Jeremy Matrita says, speaking of manslaughter, when is Congress going to modify the laws to include woman slaughter? I know, Jeremy. What is it? We're going to have like a whole nother alphabet. We're going to need all those subsections A through Z. Is that going to cover all of the different gender identities that exist now? Can we get them all done in our alphabet? We're going to need new code books for all the definitions.